So for this stage, I want to import a file. In this case, I want to start with something that I've done in SolidWorks, and I've already removed some of the features, like some of the small fillets, and in this case also the keyways. And so I can come in and select a file, and I have called this simplified, and I'm going to use a step file here. You could also try importing the SolidWorks file directly, and then let's open that in SpaceClaim for editing. Okay, so now we're in SpaceClaim and we've brought in the SolidWorks file. You notice that I have the steps, but I don't have the keys or fillets in any of these corners, because those aren't very important to the overall displacement of the object, which is what we're trying to calculate using this initial model. Now I could mesh this and do this as a solid model, but since this is mostly just extrusions, constant cross sections, it would be more efficient to create a beam model. And Workbench can create a model very effectively with that. And so what we want to do is we come over here, we're going to extract the beams. So I can just select a solid, and you can see that it created a beams and a series of different beam profiles for each one of these. Now, I also want to make sure, sometimes it doesn't connect them together to merge it. So let's make sure that we have our beams all connected. So it looks like we're good here. So we've now have the model there, and we can take this into Ansys Mechanical. So now I've opened this in Ansys Mechanical, and you can see that it looks just like a line, though if I go to the mesh and let's display, let's generate the mesh. You can see that it assigns the different diameters to it. This looks sort of like a hexagon or octagon, but it's modeling it as circles. So I've got my geometry. I have the materials are carried over. The cross sections are in here, and now I need to apply the boundary conditions so that I could go ahead and do the model. And I'm going to do, if I want to look at separately bending and torsion, then I could do two boundary steps. Maybe I'll do three, so I could look at them one with it combined. And so let's go in and insert our supports. So I see in my solution I got a lot of red arrows here, and if I click down at the bottom, so I can come over, if I click on the messages, we see I've got solver pivot warnings. So I probably have a constraint. My guess is going to be that I don't have some adequate connection between these. Alright, so we're not having connectivity in here, so let's go to share. We notice that it's highlighting these vertexes there, so let's fix all those. So we can come to Workbench. We will update the mechanical model. Nice, so that is updated. So let's go to mechanical, and we can solve the model. So with the revisions, and now that I've connected together the beams, I can solve that. And I'm getting a warning about not enough constraints, but it solves successfully. And the solution makes, let's see, the solution generally makes sense. So if we look here, we see that it's supported here at the left and then here in the middle, and those have zero displacements, and we see larger displacements in the middle. Makes sense. If we look at the total combined stress, we see that there's a peak there, And we got an error message, but we saw the key stuff, so we'll stop there.